All right, good day. I'm excited to have Martin Lunger here of R100K for our second interview. We did one about a month and a half ago. We dove into the development of R100K, how Martin came around about putting this together. We talked about his team, risk factors. So rather than going into that again, Martin, if you're okay with it, I'd like to just refer people to our prior interview, which is on my Black Book Crypto blog, the review article I did that summarized my research before I invested in R100K. Is that okay with you? We just dive into some of the...
It's more than fine, yeah.
All right. Well, good. Well, good. Maybe perhaps give us a quick rundown on how R100K is doing and what you see as the current market conditions, the critical element market conditions.
So far I can say we're doing pretty well. Since we started the project, we made around, I think today it's around 180%, if I'm not completely wrong.
Yeah.
And so far the best percentage we had was around 30% over the Bitcoin gains, which made us really happy.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we hope for more at the end of the bull market, the bull run.
Right.
And then we have to say the altcoins, they don't really want to go as I wanted them to go, but I'm sure it's going to happen soon. So yeah, we're still waiting a little bit for the altcoins to move more than they do.
Right. They are moving, just not as much as we want, right?
Oh, let's say we used to, because we are like normally they're moving a little bit faster than they do this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just we're probably just right on the cusp of the famed altcoin seasons where altcoin starts rising and then money is taken out of Bitcoin and Ethereum into some of the smaller low cap alts where there's much more gain to be had in those. Yeah.
And we have to say the focus the last month was completely on Bitcoin with the ETF.
Right.
And everything. So it takes a little bit, but it will happen for sure. Yeah.
What's your take on the release of these Bitcoin ETFs?
So me personally, I think it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's like it gives access to people they didn't want to deal with having an own wallet or doing everything by themselves. Mm-hmm. So it opened a complete new market, like for everybody. So like we said in the other interview, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Right.
We saw what happened. So yeah, but I think that overall it's a good thing. It's like as long you have the option to choose whatever you wanted to do. If you want to deal with your cryptocurrency or with your Bitcoin, then okay. And if you don't want, you can choose the ETF route. I'm happy with that.
Right. And that's exactly what we saw. There's all this hype building up to the release, the approval of the ETFs, and then as soon as that was announced, Bitcoin drew back a little bit. Yeah. And then all the naysayers out there like, see, I told you so, Bitcoin's, not going to happen, it's just a, fake, money, but no more fake than fiat currency with no backing. Kind of reminds me, I don't know if I said this in our last interview, I never really believed in Bitcoin at the beginning, but I did follow it. And then about 2012, I thought, what the heck? I mean, I gamble, I play blackjack in Vegas and Monte Carlo, and why not gamble $500 on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This back in 2012, right?
You're going to break my heart now, because I'm sure you bought the 500 and then you sold them really, really early after.
No, it's a bad, sad luck story, because what you were just talking about, that the ETFs make it easier for people to get into. It's difficult now, right? If I talk to people that want to, how do I get into, crypto? You got to get exchange, you do the app, know your customer thing, you got huge fees. Well, back in 2012, it was ridiculous. There was no online access. You had to go to these places like a 7-Eleven, like a store, and they had a little kiosk. And so I had, hard $500 cash in my pocket. 500 is like, I'm going to just put this in there and forget it, see if it turns into anything.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around. First couple of kiosk places I went, they were closed. Then I, finally found one. I gave myself a couple hours to do all this. Then I finally found one. They wanted more ID than I had. Then I went back home. I got the ID, went back there. That place was closed. Then I went to another one. After spending half a day looking for a way to put my $500 into Bitcoin, I gave up.
No.
Well, it's not meant to be.
No.
You have any idea what that $500 would be worth now?
I think you would not talk to me right now.
It would be worth millions, literally, right? So that's where then Bitcoin crashed, and then crashed again, rose, bull and run, and then bear, then bull, then bear. And then in 2016, 2017, I started looking at it again, and I thought, I'm not going to make that mistake. It went from like, I don't remember what it was, 30 cents in 2012. When I started looking at it again, it was like $600 or $700 in 2016, 2017 timeframe. And I thought, I'm not missing that again. So I put a few grand into it and started trading, and alts took off, and Bitcoin, and went up to almost 20 grand and then crashed. Unfortunately, I followed the sage investing advice. Always take profit. So many people got because they did not do that.
Yeah, but I like the mindset that you were looking at something and you made your mistake, and now you know what you're doing, and we have to see Bitcoin not as we talked earlier. I want to make 1,000% in 5 days. No, I think it would be smart to do a monthly investment in Bitcoin. It doesn't have to be whatever, like thousands. It can be $50 a month, and you do it over 10 years. It's not hurting. It's not hurting you. But let's see what happened in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't even know how many percentage you had made with or how much money you would have made with $500 in 2012, or when did you want? Yeah. So you don't know what happened in 10 years, and I believe Bitcoin is going to be stronger, bigger and bigger, and especially with the halving coming up right now, it's going to be a good investment. And you always have to take the risk. You cannot just invest hoping you're making the money with no risk. That's not going to happen. That's not existing. So think about long term, like think about the next 10, 15 years. Why not?
Right. Yeah, that's the common advice in the equities market too, the stock market. Right? You have a financial advisor, he doesn't say pull your money out because the market's about to crash or it has crashed. Write it out, and you look at the charts from 1933 till now. There's always these these typical cycles, 8 to 12 year cycles. You leave it in, you write it, you pick it back up.
Yeah, I think with time you're getting more relaxed, especially if you do crypto. You're getting more relaxed. Okay, it's 20% down. I sleep anyway. Good, for you too. But if you're new to the market, you say, oh no, I cannot. That's I have to sell. So just see it as a long-term investment and not as a make quick thing.
And the way you're talking about doing it is very smart. Don't put your life savings in it.
Oh, no.
In anything. You wouldn't put that in a Tesla stock, right? People that have done that are all excited when up to almost 1,200. Now it's, I don't know what it is, 150, 180, something like that. But you brought up the Bitcoin halving. Let's dive into that a little bit. What are your thoughts on the Bitcoin halving? How that's going to affect Bitcoin and R100K?
First of all, the idea of halving, it's such a great idea to Bitcoin gets a better value because it's halving, so you cannot mine as much, or you don't earn as much Bitcoin as you did before. I believe it's going to be in the beginning, probably like we had a discussion before, buy the rumor, sell the news. That's my opinion. I believe it's going to be up now, and then probably a little bit down. But in the long run, it's going to be rising up again.
Right. Right. Would you mind if I showed some research that I did when I was doing my due diligence on R100K before I invested? I summarized all that research and my review article on my blog that I mentioned earlier. Mind if I share my screen and something about that? All right. Well, before I jump over there, this is from your homepage, showing the current stats.
Yes.
You're right, exactly. 179%, almost 180% profit. That's unrealized gains for someone that would have invested at the beginning in August, right? I think I invested in October, I think, is when I started getting in. So I'm doing pretty darn well. You guys have honored, and by the way, I didn't want to take any money out, but to test your withdrawal process, I did withdraw a tiny amount, and it worked exactly as you stated. So I'm very confident about that. And before I leave the screen, I also wanted to show this scrolling comparison to other assets. I don't want to sit here on the call and go through all of these, but this is looking at our R100K since August, 179% performance compared to other assets since August, what they have done. NASDAQ 22%. Go ahead.
Most of them are doing actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What are you considering a high risk investment in returns, like in a percentage? Because I always say if somebody is offering me 10% return in a year, then I always think that's going to be a risk investment.
Right.
Just wondering what you think about it. Just that we see these numbers here, and it's important to understand what actually is a high risk investment.
Right. Well, these are snapshots, right? So NASDAQ at 22%. Gain since October. If someone were to offer that 22%, you're right, it would be perceived as a high risk.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would perceive it as that too. But everything in the financial markets are risk, right? I don't have much money in the markets because I'm expecting a crash. I've been expecting that for a while now, and it hasn't happened. It's pulled back, 18% or something like that, which is pretty significant. But I don't know. I don't trust the institutional investors who control those markets. Sorry, I've lost a lot of money in the Forex trading, stocks, and used to do options trading. So anyway, that's a really good point to bring up. But you can see here, you guys are doing pretty darn.
If I would say you, or would have say you like a half year ago, invest everything you have and you would make 180%. You would not doing it.
Oh, I,
But now you would say, oh man. No,
right,
I'm
exactly.
just saying it's never too late. I mean, you can invest, you can start investing today and making 10, 20, 40, 50, 100% anyway. It's
Right.
possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the appeal of the altcoins. In fact, before I go over to the halving chart, I pulled up before our call the coins your R100K is investing in right now.
Mhm.
And this is real time. So Litecoin, BCH, Doge, Binance, all of these, you can see it's not.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you explain this better than I can. Go ahead, explain what exactly we're looking at here.
What you're seeing right now, that means that the altcoins are slowly moving. If the market or the altcoins are starting moving, our algorithm puts the money in those coins and not just in Bitcoin. I don't know if you can scroll down, but I think in this moment we don't have anything in Bitcoin, because all these coins are going to have more gains, or should have more gains than Bitcoin. And I think we are not in Bitcoin right now. But if the market goes the other direction, you will see that the algorithm is putting more percentages back to Bitcoin.
Right.
So it's kind of a safety thing, because an altcoin can make more gains really quick, but can also lose really quick.
Right.
So yeah, that's what you kind of see here on this.
The thing is, I log in here every couple of days. It's nice kind of having this as hands off. You make your deposit and then your team and the algorithm go to work, keeping it. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to touch it, just observe. But as Bitcoin had pulled back from 72 to 63 in the last couple of weeks, because Bitcoin was doing better than alts, Bitcoin was on top.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? Kind of what you were saying. But the fact that, and that's exactly what I was thinking, what you explained, is that because the algorithm is selecting these altcoins means altcoins are doing better than Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why your performance, R100K performance, exceeds Bitcoin. Now, some people would like to see that you are betting both directions. In other words, shorting coins or Bitcoin when Bitcoin is going down, to avoid the losses that, the unrealized losses that could occur. But shorting requires leverage.
Exactly. And
you
then
are committed. Tell me again, you guys are committed to not using leverage.
No, we want it to be as safe as possible. That's why we're not using any leverage trading. No,
Right.
It is just too risky. I mean, everybody knows you can make a ton of money with the leverage trading, but you also can lose it extremely quick. So that was never an option for us. That's why we're using the rebalancing system, and as you can see, it's working pretty well. And I'm sure at the end of the project, we are going to have some happy customers.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't have invested if you guys were doing leverage. I wouldn't. I won't put my money in anything like that. I've tried it. I've lost. I've gained. I want to sleep at night, not have to worry about it. All right, so let's get into the halving chart that I found.
We almost forgot about it.
Yeah. So this was something I found last year, October, November, when I was doing my due diligence, this Bitcoin halving cycle, by someone, I think this is TradingView, this Augustus Lee, to give him credit for this. This is, let me move here. What this is showing here are the halving cycles going back to 2011. These areas here, if you could see my mouse cursor are the halving periods. Here, here, here. The last one being 2018, 2019. When a halving is the rewards that miners get are cut in half, basically.
Yeah.
And that reduces the supply, and that reduction of supply and reduction in the amount that miners are getting generally initially causes a downturn, a pullback, which is what we're seeing here and here and here, right? But look what it does after the pullback.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what's interesting for us now.
Right.
Probably it's going to be a little bit down, but in the long run, it's going to be
right
up again. Yeah, that's
right.
that's what we're looking for. Next month is going to be really interesting for Bitcoin and the crypto world in general.
Yeah. And this was done in 2019, this chart. So this 20 to 23 was this guy's technical analytical prediction. And it's actually not far off, right?
Yeah.
Got up to it actually, if we extend this out 24, we actually exceeded the last all-time high, right?
Yeah.
Here already. And then the difference, what we have now is the Bitcoin ETFs, the additional user adoption that you talked about by people being able to invest in Bitcoin through the ETFs, combined with this halving. Who knows what's happening? We're in an election here in the United States. They always make the markets look exceptionally good. They'll probably punch a bunch more liquidity into the market, probably lower interest rates. That's gonna, so it's likely to do this. Don't take anything we're saying here, any listener, as financial advice, but it's likely to pull back, like you were saying, Martin.
Yeah.
And stabilize and then go on another tear. Right? What do you think?
Yeah, I think after that pretty soon we are going to hit the 100,000.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The payday. I would say the initial payday, because you guys are talking about R250K right on the tail of that, right?
Yeah, we're talking about that. We're planning on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, but
Well,
that's as soon as I know more, I will let you know. But
okay.
But you really can see it's halving per halving. It's going up, and
Right.
that's what we're looking for.
Right.
And
if this happens after this halving, I'm not withdrawing my money any more than any financial advisor would advise a stock investor to withdraw if the market pulls back a little bit, because they know it's going to go back up. Look at, I mean, you can't get a better, historical record of the halvings than this, what this guy's done.
Yeah.
And
and like we said before, I think it's time to think about or to see Bitcoin more as a long-term investing. And even if it hits the 100,000 and then it falls back to 80, for example, just let it go. Just wait. It's
right.
I believe Bitcoin is going to be so big. It's the halving.
Right.
It's every day there's news. Everybody wants to get in Bitcoin right now. It's going to be so much more important in the future than we think right now. So I think it's going to change a lot in the future.
Right. Are you willing to make a prediction when Bitcoin will reach 100K?
So we have the halving April, supposed, and then I believe we are going to hit the 100,000 at the end of the year. It's going to take a while. I don't think it's going to skyrocket like it did before, but it's going to be slow and steady. And I believe it's going to be the end of the year.
Okay. All right.
If it's earlier, I'm not complaining.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
but that's my thought. What do you think?
Well, let me show you some calcs I did last year based on the last two bull bear cycles. Let me scroll back up on my article here. Can you see this?
Yes.
Right. So the last bull run went from 2019, January 2019, Bitcoin at roughly 3,000, November 21, before the next crypto winter hit, 67,000, the last high that we just broke through a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
That was a roughly 22x gain, 22 times, not 22%, 22x gain. The one before that, Bitcoin 2015 was down to 700. 2017 reached a high of almost 20,000. That was a almost 28x gain. So what I did was I just looked at those time periods and did some extrapolation using a 20x factor for Bitcoin's last low of 16.6 back, when was that? Last October, I forget when it was. Oh, November 22.
Yeah.
November 22 was the last low. Using that 20x factor before the next winter hits, Bitcoin should be up about 333,000. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, neither are you. So no one take anything we're saying here as financial advice. I'm just showing you historical figures. Go ahead.
If that happens, we need to do R100K because we have to skip 250.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But looking at the time frames here, though, of those last two cycles, roughly 24 months between the bottom and the top. Who knows if that time frame is going to happen, or if these multiplication factors happen.
Yes.
But with Bitcoin at the last low of 16.6, net gain of 360,000 by the end of 24, right? So I'd say looking at this historically gives credence to your prediction of Bitcoin being 100 by the end of the year. I think that sounds pretty conservative to anybody that's been following Bitcoin for, more than one cycle, right?
And I think as soon Bitcoin hits the 100,000, the trust in Bitcoin and in cryptocurrency generally, it's going to increase a lot.
Right.
I think that's going to push again, because there's so many people, like they know Bitcoin exists, but they're never touching it. They never did anything. Like
Right.
everybody, like you in crypto, but that doesn't mean that all your family or your friends are in crypto.
Right.
So there's so many people they don't know, or they did never invest in Bitcoin, but someday they're going to.
Right.
So yeah. So there's a lot going on in the future for sure.
Right. And I think the current emotional state of the market is so many people were burned by, these crypto platforms that went out of business, and they're still feeling that pain, but eventually they forget, like they do in other markets, and then they get back in, feel comfortable. Let me show you one more thing, kind of validation of what you've been saying. This is the updates, right, that I've been keeping track of since I got in October. I invested, so this is the first update after I got in November. It was a 48% gain. That was an average monthly gain of almost 14%. Now that's unrealized effective gains, because I kept my money in, I didn't pull it out, right?
Yeah.
December, 94% performance from the beginning, 16.6. January, 75%, 11, almost 12% unrealized monthly. February, 10%. March, 146%, 13% gain. To your point, this seems unreasonable, but it's real. It's measurable. You guys are audited. Those audits are going on your website. That's why I trust the platform. I trust you, Martin, and your team. So now we're a few days away from April 24, and before the halving, you're up to 100 and what did we see? 179%.
179, yeah.
Good job, Martin. Thank you.
Let's see what happens.
Thank you. Right. Let me look on my list real quick. If there's anything you wanted to talk about before we close out this?
Yeah, if somebody wants to get in touch with me, you can just email me or text me on Facebook, whatever works best for anybody. I talk to everybody. I think it's important to have almost let's say a personal relationship to our customers. We don't want to be or I don't want to be just a face for the company. I do want to talk to people, and I did it, and I hear the concerns from customers, and what you said before, there is a lot of trust issues because of what happened in the past. And yeah, if somebody has some questions or want to know more about our company, just get in touch with me. We can have a call, or we can text, and I can show you as much as I can offer. Yeah.
Right. That's great. That's really good to hear. It's what you offered to me. I reached out like I wasn't gonna even begin looking at it until I actually talked to you, and you were there, and we had a long conversation, and that I did my due diligence. So what Martin is offering, it goes for me too. Anybody that wants more information is welcome to use my contact form on my blog, my Black Book Crypto blog. I can even make arrangements for you to meet with Martin as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
For that route. So great, Martin. Thanks for your time. Let's reconnect around the halving, maybe after the halving.
Let's talk about after the
60 days. It's supposed to be April, but it could be a little before, a little after. That would be kind of fun to just look at that historical chart and then see how that compares to what actually happens.
Yeah, for sure. Let's do that. Yeah.
And if I had a glass of wine, I'd be toasting here's to our 250K.
Oh yeah. As soon as I have more news, I let you know.
Okay.
You're going to be the first one.
All right. Thanks a lot, Martin. Appreciate your time here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Take care.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.